You're scrolling through your phone at 2 in the morning again, aren't you? Your thumb hovers over their name, their photos, those old messages you've read 1,000 times. Your chest tightens as you see their smile. Remember their laugh. Feel the ghost of their touch. The questions flood in like they always do. What if I had said something different? What if I had fought harder? What if I had been better? The regret wraps around you like a heavy blanket, suffocating and familiar. You can feel your heart racing, not from love, but from the pain of what could have been. And in the darkness of your room, you're not alone with yourself. You're alone with every version of the relationship that never got to exist. I see you there, caught in the prison of what if. I see you replaying conversations, rewriting endings, reimagining scenarios where everything worked out differently. I see you torturing yourself with possibilities that exist only in your mind, bleeding from wounds that should have healed by now. And I'm here to tell you something that your heart needs to hear. Your relationship regret isn't protecting you from future pain, it's stealing your present joy. You've been carrying this weight for how long now? Months? Years? You've become a curator of memories, a historian of heartbreak, an archaeologist digging through the ruins of what once was, searching for clues about what went wrong. But here's what you haven't realized. You're not actually looking for answers. You're looking for a way to change the past. And that, my dear friend, is the most futile search of all. For over 4 decades, I've studied the patterns that keep us trapped in suffering. In my book, Your Erroneous Zones, I wrote about how we create our own prisons with our thoughts. Today, I want to talk about the specific prison of relationship regret, how it forms, why we cling to it, and most importantly, how to finally break free. I've witnessed thousands of people just like you, beautiful souls who are living their lives looking backward, missing the love that's trying to find them because they're too busy mourning the love they lost. What I'm about to share with you isn't just another perspective on letting go. It's a fundamental shift in how you understand regret, relationships, and your own power to create the love you deserve. But first, you need to understand why you're really holding on. You think you're holding on to love, don't you? You think that by keeping the regret alive, you're somehow honoring what you had. But regret isn't love. Regret is fear dressed up as devotion. It's fear that you'll never find love again. Fear that you missed your only chance. Fear that you're fundamentally flawed in some way that makes you unworthy of lasting love. Right now, you might be telling yourself stories about why this particular relationship was the one. Maybe they understood you in ways no one else did. Maybe the chemistry was unlike anything you'd experienced. Maybe you'd built dreams together, made plans, created a future in your minds that never got to materialize. And now you're living in the gap between what was supposed to be and what actually is. But here's what's really happening in your mind and body when you can't let go of relationship regret. Every time you replay those memories, every time you imagine different outcomes, your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. You're literally re-experiencing the loss, the pain, the abandonment over and over again. You're not remembering trauma. You're re-traumatizing yourself daily. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way your body responds when you think about them, the tightness in your throat, the ache in your chest, the knot in your stomach. That's not your body remembering love. That's your body experiencing loss in real time, as if it's happening right now, because to your nervous system, it is happening right now. Every single time you choose to dive into regret, let me share something that might be hard to hear. The relationship you're mourning, it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it never existed. I'm saying the version you're grieving, the perfect one in your head where everything worked out, that relationship is a fantasy. You're not mourning what was, you're mourning what never was. You're grieving potential, not reality. In The Power of Intention, I wrote about how our intentions create our reality. Right now, your intention is focused on the past, on regret, on what's gone. And what you're creating is more of the same. More loss, more longing, more emptiness. You're so busy trying to resurrect a dead relationship that you can't see the life that's trying to bloom around you. Think about this for a moment. How much of your current life are you missing because you're living in the past? How many potential connections have you overlooked because you were comparing them to a ghost? How many moments of joy have you forfeited because you were too busy feeling sad about what's gone? You know what I'm talking about. The person who showed interest, but you dismissed because they weren't them. The opportunities for happiness that you let pass because you didn't feel you deserved them after failing in your past relationship. The walls you've built around your heart, not to protect you from future pain, but to preserve the pain you're already carrying. I want you to understand something crucial. Your regret is not a badge of honor. It's not proof of how deeply you loved. It's evidence of how deeply you're hurting yourself. Every moment you spend regretting the past is a moment stolen from your future. Every ounce of energy you pour into what if is energy you can't use for what now. You've probably created a story about why the relationship ended, haven't you? Maybe you blame yourself entirely. If only I had been more understanding, more patient, more loving, more something. Or maybe you blame them. If only they had been willing to work on things, to see your worth, to choose you. But both stories keep you trapped in the same prison. The prison of believing that the past should have been different. As I wrote in Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, the ancient wisdom of the Tao teaches us that resistance to what is creates suffering. Your relationship ended. That's what is. Your partner is gone. That's what is. The future you planned together won't happen. That's what is. And every moment you spend resisting these truths is a moment you spend in suffering. But here's what else is true. You survived the ending. You're here, breathing, living, capable of love. That's also what is. You have a future waiting to be written. That's what is. You have the power to choose what thoughts you think, what stories you tell, what meaning you make. That's what is. Let me tell you about Rachel. She came to see me 3 years after her divorce, still wearing her wedding ring on a chain around her neck. Every conversation somehow led back to her ex-husband, to what went wrong, to how she should have been different. She was 42 years old, but she was living like her life ended at 39 when he left. I asked her, if your ex-husband came back tomorrow and wanted to reconcile, would you take him back? She thought for a long moment, then said, no, we're different people now, it wouldn't work. That's when I asked the question that changed everything. So why are you still married to a ghost? She realized in that moment that she wasn't actually mourning the relationship. She was mourning her idea of herself in that relationship. She was grieving the version of herself that believed in forever, that felt chosen, that had a clear path forward. The regret wasn't about him. It was about her own lost innocence. This might be true for you too. You might be clinging to regret not because you want that specific person back, but because letting go means admitting that your vision of yourself and your life was wrong. It means acknowledging that you're not who you thought you were, that life isn't what you thought it was, that love isn't what you thought it was, and that's terrifying. But here's the gift hidden in that terror. When your old understanding of love dies, a new understanding can be born. When you release who you thought you were, you can discover who you really are. When you let go of the future that won't happen, you make space for the future that wants to happen. Right now, I want you to think about your regret differently. Instead of seeing it as proof of loss, what if you saw it as proof of capacity? You regret because you loved. You hurt because you cared. You mourn because you hoped. These aren't weaknesses. They're strengths. They're evidence that you have a heart capable of deep connection. The problem isn't your capacity for love. It's where you're directing it. You're directing all that beautiful love energy into the past, into someone who's no longer there to receive it, into a relationship that no longer exists to be nourished by it. You're watering a dead plant while a garden of possibilities wilts around you from neglect. An excuse is begone. I wrote about how we use our past as an excuse to avoid our potential. Your relationship regret has become your excuse. An excuse not to try again. An excuse not to open your heart. An excuse not to believe in love. An excuse to stay safe in your suffering rather than risk the vulnerability of hope. But suffering isn't safety. Regret isn't protection. Holding on to the past isn't honoring what was. It's dishonoring what could be. Every moment you spend as the guardian of a dead relationship is a moment you're not available for a living one. I want you to understand something about the nature of relationships. They're not meant to last forever in the same form. Even the best relationships are constantly dying and being reborn, constantly evolving, constantly changing. The relationship you're mourning was always going to end, if not through breakup, then through death. Nothing in the physical world is permanent. Expecting permanence is setting yourself up for suffering. What is permanent is your capacity to love. What is eternal is your ability to connect. What is infinite is your potential for joy. These things didn't leave with your ex. They're still within you, waiting to be activated, waiting to be shared, waiting to be experienced in new ways with new people. You might be thinking, but I'll never find a love like that again. And you're right, you won't. Because you're not the same person you were. Because they're not the same person they were. Because that specific configuration of two people at that specific time, in that specific circumstance, can never be replicated. But that doesn't mean you won't find love again. It means you'll find a different love, maybe a better love. Maybe a love that fits who you're becoming, rather than who you were. Think about who you were when that relationship started. Your dreams, your understanding of yourself, your needs, your wounds. Now think about who you are today. You've grown, haven't you? You've learned things about yourself. You've discovered strengths you didn't know you had. You've uncovered needs you weren't aware of. The you of today might not even choose the relationship you're mourning, but you're so busy looking backward that you can't see how much you've evolved. Your regret is keeping you frozen in time. It's keeping you identified with a version of yourself that no longer exists. It's preventing you from integrating the lessons of that relationship and moving forward as the wiser, deeper, more aware person you've become. Let me ask you something. What did that relationship teach you? Not about them, but about yourself. What did you discover about your needs, your boundaries, your patterns? What did you learn about how you love and how you want to be loved? These lessons are the gifts of the relationship. But you can't receive the gifts while you're still mourning the wrapping paper. Every relationship comes into our lives for a reason. Some come to teach us what love feels like. Some come to show us what we don't want. Some come to break us open so something new can enter. Some come to prepare us for the love we're really meant to experience, but all of them come to help us evolve. When you're stuck in regret, you're refusing the evolution. I want you to try something right now. Take a deep breath and say this out loud. I release you with love. I release us with love. I release who I was with love. I release who we were together with love. Feel the resistance that comes up. Feel the part of you that wants to hold on. That resistance isn't love, it's fear. Fear of emptiness, fear of the unknown, fear of having to start over. But emptiness isn't empty. It's full of potential. The unknown isn't scary, it's exciting. Starting over isn't failure, it's freedom. You get to take everything you learned, everything you've become, and create something new. You get to love with more wisdom, more depth, more authenticity than you could have before. As Rumi wrote, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Your regret is one of those barriers. It's the wall between you and the love that's waiting for you. It's the story that says your best days are behind you, when in truth, they're still ahead. Right now, someone is waiting to meet you, not the you who's stuck in the past, but the you who's learned from it. Not the you who's bitter about what didn't work out, but the you who's grateful for what it taught you. Not the you who's closed off and afraid, but the you who's open and ready for something new. But they can't find you while you're hiding in the past. They can't reach you while you're wrapped in regret. They can't love you while you're still trying to love a ghost. You have to come back to the present. You have to inhabit your current life. You have to become available for what's trying to happen now. This doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending the relationship didn't matter. It means honoring what was by not letting it destroy what could be. It means saying, thank you for the love. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for helping me become who I am. And now, goodbye. Your ex is living their life. They've moved forward in whatever way they needed to. They're not sitting somewhere waiting for you to figure out how things could have been different. They're not holding space for a reconciliation that will never come. They've released you. Isn't it time you released them? More importantly, isn't it time you released yourself? Released yourself from the prison of regret? Released yourself from the story that you failed? Released yourself from the belief that your worth was tied to that relationship? Released yourself to love again, to hope again. I know you're scared. I know that letting go of regret feels like letting go of the last piece of them. But you're not letting go of the love you shared. That's yours forever. You're letting go of the pain. You're letting go of the story that's keeping you stuck. You're letting go of the past hold on your future. In the shift, I talked about moving from ambition to meaning. You need to make a similar shift with your regret. Move from mourning what was lost to appreciating what was learned. Move from focusing on the ending to being grateful for the beginning. Move from seeing yourself as abandoned to seeing yourself as freed. You are not the victim of a failed relationship. You are the graduate of a completed lesson. You are not someone who lost love. You are someone who knows how to love. You are not damaged goods. You are a whole person who had an experience that added to your wholeness. The pain you feel, that's not evidence of your brokenness. It's evidence of your humanity. The regret you carry, that's not proof of your failure. It's proof of your caring. The difficulty in letting go, that's not weakness. It's the strength of a heart that knows how to commit. But now it's time to commit to yourself, to commit to your healing, to commit to your future, to commit to becoming someone who can receive love without being destroyed by its loss. To commit to writing a new story where you're not the person who lost love, but the person who found themselves. Your past relationship was a chapter, not the whole book. It was a season, not your permanent climate. It was a teacher, not a life sentence. And teachers are meant to be graduated from, not clung to forever. As you sit here right now, reading these words, you're at a crossroads. You can continue to live in the museum of your past relationship, dusting off memories, polishing regrets, charging admission to anyone who wants to hear your story of loss. Or you can walk out of that museum and into the sunlight of possibility. The choice is yours. But know this: life is happening right now. Love is available right now. Joy is possible right now. Not in spite of what happened, but because of what you learned from what happened. Not when you finally stop feeling regret, but when you stop letting regret run your life. Your future is calling you. It's calling you to bring all your wisdom, all your depth, all your capacity for love, and create something new. It's calling you to stop being the curator of what was and become the creator of what will be. Let go of the regret. Not because the relationship didn't matter, but because you matter more. Not because the love wasn't real, but because real love doesn't require suffering. Not because you're giving up, but because you're moving on. The past had its chance. It's time to give your future a chance. It's time to give yourself a chance. It's time to discover what beautiful things can happen when you stop looking back and start moving forward. Your next love is waiting for you. But first, you have to let go of the last one. Not with bitterness, but with blessing. Not with forgetting, but with forgiving. Forgiving them, forgiving yourself, forgiving life for not turning out the way you planned. The sun is setting on your regret. Let it go down. Let the darkness come. Because tomorrow, a new sun rises, and with it, new possibilities, new love, new life. You've mourned long enough. You've regretted deeply enough. You've honored the past fully enough. Now it's time to live. Now it's time to love. Now it's time to let go and move on. Your heart knows the way. Trust it. Follow it. Let it lead you home, not to the past, but to the present, where your life is waiting for you to finally show up and live it. The relationship is over. Let the regret be over too. Your new life starts now.